Say, to be honest with you, I'm heartbroken, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That like my that was man. That's my cousin. At the end of the day, that's my dog. That was my brother. But the reason why I said I'm heartbroken is because the relationship, the bond that we once had, it could never be again, bro. So, yeah, you know that's why I'm heartbroken. I feel like we just at the point of like just no return. You know what I'm saying? That's what break my heart. You know what I'm saying? But like that's the only part I'm heartbroken about because it can never be again. But you know, like I said, man,
Why does it have to be a permanent thing?
like once you publicly go choose a side and it's not me, when I would have died for you, bro. It changed my heart forever, and I can't even fake that. Like that shit crushed me, bro.
But that's your cousin, cuz. I got homies, right? We don't see eye to eye and all this and all that. But if the homie whoopty whoop and all this and all that, man, I'm not about to publicly. No. You just undermined your cousin. You got your cousin look like he ain't one of them. So your cousin go public, right? He go all over social media. He damn near he almost go viral, right? He say, "Oh, DC baby Draco, you cannot come back and be a part of my community. We don't want you over here if you ain't talking about something that benefit the kids." All this, all that, like, right? He banned him. He say he can't come over there, and you bring him right back over there. Then you address and throw some shots at your people. He ain't got the authorization to ban you or tell you where you can't go and none of this, man. Like, we ain't on that. Like, don't worry about him. I got you. My cousin ain't gonna do nothing. My cousin word ain't valid. Ain't no legitimacy to his ban and all this and all that. That's crazy. Am I the only one that take it like that? If I banned the DC Baby Draco from the projects and one of my homies bring him to the projects and I done went on live and I done went publicly and said this, that, and third, and somebody undermine that, now we got a problem. Because if I said he can't come, he can't come.
Loyalty is one of the most important principles in the streets, and it's something that goes way deeper than just friendship. Loyalty is about trust, consistency, and knowing that the people around you are moving with the same understanding and the same code. In neighborhoods like the Rolling 40's, loyalty isn't just respected, it's expected. Everybody is supposed to be on one accord, because unity is what keeps structure, order, and respect intact. When loyalty is broken, especially by someone close to you, whether that's a friend, a cousin, or even family, it hits different. That kind of situation creates emotions that don't just fade overnight. People feel betrayed, disrespected, or played. And once that feeling settles in, it can turn into a grudge, silent resentment, or straight up separation. A lot of times it's not even loud. People just distance themselves and move differently because trust is something that's hard to rebuild once it's damaged. In the streets, broken loyalty doesn't just affect personal relationships, it affects perception. When people within the same neighborhood aren't aligned, it sends mixed signals, and mixed signals create confusion. Confusion then opens the door for doubt, speculation, and internal friction. Once that happens, things start looking shaky, not just inside the neighborhood, but to everyone watching from the outside. That's where situations like the one involving Turtle and DC become a problem. If Turtle told DC that he couldn't come to the neighborhood, but then Turtle's cousin told him that he could, that contradiction alone is enough to cause tension. Whether it was miscommunication or people moving independently, the damage is already done once conflicting messages are sent out. In street culture, consistency matters. One voice saying one thing, while another voice says the opposite, weakens authority and structure. Then the internet steps in and amplifies everything. What should have been handled internally turns into public conversation. Now people online start questioning Turtle's validity, acting like his word isn't law, or suggesting he doesn't have control or respect in his own neighborhood. That's how fast narratives can flip. One moment of misalignment becomes a full-blown discussion about credibility, leadership, and loyalty. This is why loyalty and communication go hand in hand. It's not about ego or power. It's about making sure everyone is protected and no one is put in a compromised position. When people within the same circle aren't checking with each other or respecting boundaries, it creates unnecessary problems. And once outsiders sense division, they start pressing, watching closer, and forming their own opinions. At the end of the day, loyalty isn't about who's louder or who gets the last word. It's about standing on what you say, honoring the code, and making sure the people tied to you aren't left confused or exposed. Because when loyalty breaks, the damage doesn't stop with one person, it spreads through the whole neighborhood. And in the streets, perception is powerful. Once that perception changes, it's hard to reverse. That's why unity matters. That's why alignment matters. And that's why loyalty, once broken, can leave long-lasting consequences that go far beyond the original situation. The solution starts with internal communication and unity. In neighborhoods like the Rolling 40's, not everybody has to be the loudest voice, but everybody has to respect the same message. If someone speaks on who can and can't move through the neighborhood, that stance has to be confirmed and backed by the same circle, especially family. Conflicting words create confusion, and confusion is what weakens structure. Second, family matters must be handled privately. When cousins, homies, or close ties disagree, that conversation needs to stay off the internet and off the streets. Internal disagreements don't need an audience. The moment private issues become public, outsiders start forming narratives that don't help anybody. Unity isn't just about standing together physically, it's about protecting each other's credibility. Third, authority needs to be clarified. If someone is speaking for the neighborhood, that role needs to be understood and respected across the board. That doesn't mean dictatorship, it means structure. When everyone speaks independently without alignment, it makes the neighborhood look divided, even if it's not. One voice speaking out of turn can undo years of respect. Another key solution is accountability without ego. If there was miscommunication, the real fix is acknowledging it internally and correcting it. That doesn't require public explanations or online back and forth. Real respect comes from quiet correction, not loud justification. The strongest leaders don't need the internet to validate them. Lastly, discipline and boundaries must be reestablished. Not everyone needs to speak on every situation. Knowing when to stay silent is just as important as knowing when to speak. Protecting the neighborhood means thinking long-term, not reacting emotionally in the moment. At the end of the day, loyalty is maintained through consistency, communication, and discipline. When those three things are in place, outside opinions don't matter, internet narratives fade, and the neighborhood moves as one again. That's how stability is restored, and that's how respect stays intact.